Hello there everyone. Today I want to show you how to make this beaded braid turned into a bracelet. And this is what it looks like. So this is the effect that you achieve, the pattern with the cord. In this case I've just used two different colours of beads, but you don't have to, you can do whatever you want with your design. And I've used rondelles in this one, just to show you that you can use different kinds and shapes of beads and sizes. And then I've used 1mm leather cord in this as well, because in the video I'm going to show you how to use rounds. And then also this is a 2mm satin cord. So using different materials you can achieve very different results, but with the same basic technique. So if you want to learn how to do this, then stay tuned. And these are the things that you're going to need. You'll need a scissor to cut your cord, and then you'll need whatever cord that you want to use. In this case I'm using some 2mm satin cord, but you can really use anything that you can think of and anything that you have around. All you need to make sure is that the cord will go through the beads that you're using, and there's a selection of the beads that I'm going to be using. I know that the cord will go through them. It's just some 8mm acrylic beads. And then I have a button for the closure at the end. So get your things together and then let's get started. So first what we need to do is get the cord ready. Now you need to cut a length of about 150 centimeters, so 1.5 meters. And then what you need to do is fold that in 3. So the total length after it's folded is 50 centimeters, about that. So you have a loop and an end at each end of your folded piece. And then what you do when you've done that is you need to just tie a knot in one end, so we can hold it all together, but also this creates the loop for the fastening. Just a regular overhand knot. And before you tighten it completely, you want to get your button and just make sure that it's going to go through the loop. So the loop basically is the right size. So mine is a little bit too big. I'll make it smaller. Before I tighten it completely, just check again. And then that seems pretty good to me. So you don't want it to be too large obviously, because the button might slip out. But also not too small, because then the button might not be able to go through. So I know that that fits now. And then what we need to do is start working on it. So I'm just going to be working on my project board where I can put pins into. And I'm going to get a pin, and then through the loop that we created, just put a pin through that and fasten it down, just so we can start working with it. So I now have that attached to my board, the end, and you then have your 3 lengths. Now the other end you just want to cut the loop up so you have 3 separate lengths, because we need to start braiding now. So you just want to start a regular 3-strand braid. So always bring the outside into the middle, and then the one from the other side into the middle. Just a completely regular braid. And then you want to do maybe a couple of centimeters of that, so you just have a regular braid right at the beginning. And then now I want to start adding in the beads. So the way that we do that is we basically just continue the braid. We just want to add beads into it in certain places. So I now am in this position. I just brought from the right side into the middle. So now I need to bring from the left side into the middle. But before I do that, I'm just going to add a bead to this very left cord. And I just singe the ends of my cord to make it easier to get through. You put it on and then push it all the way up to meet your braid, like so. And then you just want to basically continue like a normal braid. So we reach this, we need to bring the left one over and into the middle. And as we do that, we want to make sure that this bead stays on the outside So you don't want the bead to come into the middle with the cord, like so. And then we reach the other side, we need to bring the right one into the middle. Again, I'm going to put on a bead before I do that. I'm just going to need to get a flat nose plier to help me get it through. I can get much better grip of the cord using that instead of my fingers. So you want to push that all the way up as well to meet the braid, and then you want to bring this in just like the regular braid into the middle, and again make sure your bead sits on the outside like so. And then back to the other side. We now need to bring the left one into the middle. Before we do that, we add a bead. Put that on, push it all the way up. Just tighten everything up, make sure everything sits right. Because it will be a bit loose as you're doing this, because obviously you need to let go in order to put beads on. But just retighten it as you go, and the further you get, it'll stay nice and tight. And then you bring that into the middle, that cord, making sure your bead stays on the outside. Like so, so the same thing throughout. And again, back to the other side. So I need my right cord now. Add a bead. Push it all the way up. And then bring the cord over and into the middle, just like the regular braid. Like so. Making sure the bead stays on the outside. And that's all there is to it really. You just continue like that. Adding your beads to every time you make a move to form your braid. And you just continue doing that until you reach the length that you need your bracelet to be, or whatever else you're making. So I've now reached the length that I need it to be, and what we need to do now is make a little section like we did in the beginning of just regular braiding without any beads. So that's how we're going to finish it off. You're now in a position where you're just taking the, well in my case I've taken the right one across into the middle, so we now need to take the left one across, and we're just going to continue with the regular braid now, just without adding any beads. Again, just for a couple of centimeters, like so. And now what we need to do is add our button. To do that, we kind of need to fasten all this in place, because if you just let go, it'll unravel and come undone. So what I do is, you have a cord that's more obviously in the middle, the one that you just brought over last. So keep that in the middle, and then you want to do a square knot around that with the other two cords. So you bring one side over, like that. Try and hold the braid if you can, because otherwise it'll get looser. And you bring the other one over that one, and then back underneath, and underneath the holding cord as well in the middle, and then up through the loop. So you have like a pretzel shape. And then you want to tighten that all the way up to where your braid ends, like so. And already you can now let go, and it won't be going anywhere. But we just want to finish off that square knot. So you want to then start with the other side, because you want to finish off the square knot to complete it. And then tighten that, like so. So that's nice and secure now, and your braid's not going to come undone. And then what I'm going to do is get my button out. This is just a shank type button. So the middle cord that I was basically just using as my holding cord, I'm going to get the end of that and put that through the button, just that one cord, and then push the button up there, because we now need to attach that and then cage it in. So we just do another square knot now, like exactly like we just done, to basically cage in this button to secure it in place. So again, I start with my left side. You don't have to, just as long as you start with the same side every time, and then get your pretzel shape. If you're unsure about how to do a square knot, I have a video on how to do some basic macrame knots that might be helpful. I'm going to link that in the bottom, in the description box. And to finish off the other half of the square knot, like so. Make sure when you tighten that the cords go underneath your button. So on the other side it looks like this. So you basically just have 2 square knots with your button in between, so it's nice and secure. So now we can take the piece off of the board, and everything's nice and secure, it's not going to go anywhere. And all that's left to do really is finish off the very ends. So now to do that, I'm going to get out some glue. Now I like using the hypo cement, because first of all it's a really nice and strong glue, and also dries clear, so you won't be able to, it won't really show up if anything is visible. And then it stays flexible once it dries as well, even though it's strong, which means some glues that go hard, but this stays flexible, so it means it's going to be less irritating and it's not going to be scratchy and that. So I really do recommend this glue. And also it has a really fine tip, so you can do really precision gluing and get the glue right in where you want it to go. So I'm going to start off with this end. I'm going to split the loop and the piece of cord from each other, and then get your tip right in there, and then glue around your piece of cord that's sticking out. Just getting there right down from where it's coming out from the knot. It's just enough to secure it in place so you can cut it off, like so. And then on the other end is where we have a button. So I'm going to turn it around to the back side, and then we have all these spare cords coming out. So again, I'm just going to go around where the cords are coming out from your knot, all the way around, so pull it back and get on the other side as well. It's just to secure the cords in place, so when you cut them off things aren't going to unravel. So, and then the one that was your holding cord as well, all the way around. And then what I just like to do is put glue in the well of your square knot, because it's going to help hold it all in place, like so. You can then put your glue away, and then you just need to leave this to dry. And because, like I said, when this glue dries it stays flexible, it's not an issue. You can go in with a scissor and cut it off, whereas some glues, they get really hard. So just leave that to dry, and then we can cut off the ends. So now my glue's dried, and I'm going to get my scissor, go in and just cut off the excess cord as close as you can to your piece, to your knot, without actually cutting into the knot. Like so, do all of them. There, that's one end. And to the other end where you have the loop, you want to cut this little piece off, so pull back the loop, pull them apart from each other to avoid risking cutting off the loop by accident. And just go in as close as you can to the knot again and cut that excess cord off, like so. And that's the bracelet done. So you then have your loop and your button. As the closure, like so. And then your bracelet. Now if you don't like this way of finishing off the bracelet, you could always go in and use something else. What you can do is you can get some cord ends that look like this. This is what they look like. And you put your cord into there and then fasten it down. And that's another way of finishing it off. And you then just connect things like jump rings, extended chain and your clasp to those. So it's a different way of finishing off your bracelet if you prefer that. I have a video on how to use these. I'm going to link that at the bottom. But otherwise that's your finished bracelet. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you very much for watching. Hello there everyone. Today I want to show you how to make this braided bracelet, adding beads as well. And this is what it looks like. So this is the effect you get. It's just a regular 3-strand braid, but then we add in beads in the center of it along the way to give you this nice effect and nice pattern to it. And I just finished it off